Now, what I want to show you today is a newer arrangement of the PiggyBack Shelves. I have kind of shown you a little bit about how those things work, and the thing is I've sort of changed it a little bit. What I think is a little bit better arrangement. I don't know that it's as easy to make though, so some people might still want to use the current arrangement that's in the plans booklet. Now, what I would point out to you when I use a word like current, these videos can stay out there for forever on the internet, and you know, that which is current now, of course, isn't going to be next year. This is February 1st, actually, of 2021, and I do have a habit of changing things, and that's because I use my product and figure out other ways to do things. And I might have a lot of reasons for changing them. Sometimes it's to make it functionally better. Sometimes it's sometimes the improvements are make them easier to manufacture. In this particular case, the modification that I've done here is this dowel rod right here goes all the way through. Goes all the way through this box. I think I'll pull it out this way. As you can see, the supervisor's with us this morning. She always likes to make sure everything's just right. But the first thing I've done is made the dowel rod quite a bit longer, so it actually comes out to pretty much this thing here, and that makes it easier to get in and out. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let's get down, okay? You are such a pain. What are we going to do with you? Now, the key here is this. Now that that's out, this still seems like it's stuck, but actually it isn't. What you have to take it straight up, and you know, you got to kind of get in on one side like that, take it straight up. On this side, take it straight up too. And now you see what happens is these little tabs right here go down here and here, and then this dowel rod will go all the way through all of them. It goes through this tab. This center thing here makes it easy to basically situate it so it goes all the way through. But it'll go through this tab here and then out the other side. And that makes a real positive lock for this thing, which, you know, if you're one of those guys that is like me and you throw this thing in the back of your pickup and you don't want things flying out, it's good to have stuff locked down, okay? So that's the notion behind that. Now in terms of the PiggyBack shelves, there's one other thing I want to demonstrate to you, and it's sort of how everything locks together. What we have here is we have this dowel, which goes all the way through down here to lock the stand and the box together. Now technically you have two dowels that will do that. The problem is that when you use a PiggyBack shelf, you can only get one of them to go in. And that's because we have this arrangement here, which I call the swivel support. And the swivel support has to come up and give us something to lock to, as I'm going to demonstrate to you here in a second. But my point here is that this dowel won't go in. So what do we do now? Well, you have two choices. You could move this down to this set of holes when you're storing it, or you could just not put it in. I mean, the truth is you only need one dowel. That one dowel will lock the stand and the box together. That's all you really need, and you won't have to worry about the box sliding out as you're carrying it that way. So let me take this guy out. We'll slide this off. Actually be able to do this. And again, 'Again, 'again, pick it straight up. And then you see what happens is these little tabs right here go all the way through down here to lock the stand and the box together. Now technically you have two dowels that will do that. The problem is that when you use a PiggyBack shelf, you can only get one of them to go in. And that's because we have this arrangement here, which I call the swivel support. And the swivel support has to come up and give us something to lock to, as I'm going to demonstrate to you here in a second. But my point here is that this dowel won't go in. So just put it here for the moment. Now the key here is we're going to want to situate this box so that the swivel support is on this side. And I just pull it right up against the edge. It doesn't bolt in or anything, it goes in just like that. And all you have to do is take that out, put this in, and we now have a place for this piece right here. So when we pull this out, of course this is going to go over here. And there we are. We can take one of these guys, put it here if you want, and that's where your various rolls would go, whether it's a paper towel roll or maybe I like foil wrap myself. Some people use wax paper. And you can do the same thing here. Now, the other thing I'd point out is be sure and watch the finishing touches video, because it shows you how to make these holes with hot glue, or actually you can use candle wax too, paraffin wax, and it shows you how to kind of take up the slack in the holes so that the rods stay in there a little better. It's a kind of a challenging proposition because you want your rod smaller than the hole so that it fits. But on the other hand, you don't want it too small because then it'll vibrate out as you're driving down the road. So the way you mitigate that is with hot glue or candle wax. Now also let me point this out to you. These doors don't go all the way across, because if they did, you wouldn't be able to get these dowels in. That go across the box to lock the stand to the box. That's so I shortened these doors to really 20 3/4. I think I told you that somewhere else. You may not have seen that video. Now, the way I tend to set a box up is I just throw one of these down below, and then you can throw your whatever on there, be it a loaf of bread or a bag of potatoes or whatever, just whatever you need to get out of the way, but you kind of want to stay close. And I leave the other one in. So this would be the front of the box. And when you're working from the front of the box, well, the nice thing about doing that is you can't accidentally push the drawers all the way through. When you're by yourself, that's fine. However, if somebody needed access from the other side, they could slide that drawer out and get access from the other side, which is, of course, one of the advantages of doing that. You could take either drawer and put it like this. Now you might say, well, isn't that going to raise this side in reference to this side? And the answer is yes, it does. However, you got to keep in mind, generally you're working out there in the woods on dirt that is not particularly level in the first place. So the nature has already injected some little problems in our whole equation here. And I think you're going to find once you get out there and you start working with things, they don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfectly level. I mean, it's okay if it is, but it doesn't have to be that way. The other thing I want to point out is I don't tend to ship with dowels in place because UPS likes to drop boxes. Well, I don't know if they like to, but they should do it a lot. And when they do, if things are very rigid with the dowels in them, they could end up cracking parts and what have you. So what I do is I'll take this dowel out when I ship it. So George, when you get it, you're going to have to put this dowel back in, and you're going to have to put the other dowel in as well. I don't like things to be rigid to the point of where if somebody drops it, it's like a piece of glass and it breaks. I'd rather if somebody dropped it, it's more like a, I don't know, a sponge or something. Anyway, there's some notes on unfinished boxes. Hope they help you out. Later.